It is the 1st of December, 2023, and we are now getting close to wrapping up the entire year. So it's time for another monthly update video. I'm going to tell you what we did during November, what we've got coming up in December, and what you might want to put on your calendar or get in on. I always like to begin with three big things. So big thing number one, we still have a vote going on for who the last three slots in Worlds of Speculative Fiction 2024 are going to be. I opened it up a few days ago. I'm going to keep it open for a little while longer. You can see the link below. So if you want to get in on that action, go ahead and click that link and check it out. Big thing number two, I've got a new academic publication out, which has to do with ancient philosophy and anger management. I'll put a link to that below. It's in my Phil People profile, so you can read that if you'd like to. Big thing number three, and this is kind of a much bigger thing having to do with 2024. There's going to be some announcements for online classes in the Study with Sadler Academy. I'm going to be doing some synchronous online classes, some asynchronous online classes, some email classes, a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming your way. These are an open enrollment, so you don't have to be in an academic institution to learn about philosophy with me. So if you've wanted to take a class with me, there's going to be opportunities for that. I'm going to talk about that just a little bit later in this. So those are the three big things for this month. November was a busy month. As many of you know, many of you from experience here in the United States, we have the Thanksgiving holiday. So that means basically a whole week as far as academic work gets kind of shot, and we spend time with family and we eat turkey and other things as well. So I had my kids here and we had a great time. We did some fun things, including going to Almost Home Cat rescue and hanging out with them. It's also been a busy month academically. It's getting to be crunch time. We have to decide what new classes we're teaching next semester. So there's all of that going on as well. But I did hold my monthly Ask Me Anything session. We did Worlds of Speculative Fiction, this time focusing on Terry Pratchett's Discworld series. We looked at 5 of the Rincewind novels, and that was a lot of fun. We restarted Classic Metal class, me and Scott Terulli, my good friend and colleague from Berklee School of Music, and that was great to get that going once again. Scott and I have an excellent rapport, and we talked about a lot of really cool topics, and it went on quite a lot longer than either of us had anticipated that it would. We did Wisdom for Life, the radio show, and I released the video for that. I also did a Philosophers in the Midst of History talk locally here in Milwaukee on David Hume. The video for that you can find below, linked to in the video description. And I did another Ideas That Matter conversation, one that also went on quite long, with T. Virgil Murthy. We talked about Borges, that was the official topic, but we got into translation, we unpacked some of Borges' short stories and ideas, and we strayed off into a lot of other great areas of discussion as well. There were a lot of video work that I did, some Sadler stories, one in particular talking about the book that got away, whether I should have stolen a copy of Hegel's Phenomenology, a second edition. I did an unboxing video because my mother-in-law sent me a belated birthday present that had a lot of cat-related matters in it. We did, an Aristotle bonus class sampler video. I did a quick takes video that's drawn quite a bit of attention on the question, whether questions or answers are more important in philosophy, but also more broadly in life. I did a book review video towards the end of the month on one that David Fiedler sent me a while back, Breakfast with Seneca. Excellent book. You can see my review below. And I did a story time with Sadler, 2 H.P. Lovecraft stories that were situated in the same narrative universe, what we call as Dunsian fantasy stories, the Cats of Ulthar and the Other Gods. I also did some podcast work, released a lot of podcast episodes, finished up the series on Aristotle's categories, which, there's a lot of those episodes there. I'm getting ready to design a course on Aristotle's categories, by the way, if you're interested in that. I did some videos for my other academic classes, podcast episodes, Rosemary Tong's Carol Gilligan's Ethics of Care, and Robert Audi's The Ethical Significance of Cost-Benefit Analysis. And then I jumped into finishing up a series that I started a while ago and never quite got done on St. Anselm's Monologion. So all of those are out, and you can find all of those podcast episodes leading you through the entirety of his first and very important early work. So that's what we got done in November. What is coming up in the month of December? So I've got a lot of events. These are all in Central Time. So if you're in a different time zone, make sure to check your time difference, so you're not showing up an hour early, an hour late, if you want to get in on them. The first one is going to be happening tomorrow, and it is my monthly AMA. That is Ask Me Anything session. It'll be happening at noon Central Time. I'll answer questions for about 90 minutes or so. They can be about philosophy, they can be about life, they can be about music, literature, politics, whatever it is that you want to bring to the table. You just got to be courteous with your fellow guests and not get super impatient, because lots of people will be asking questions. I try to get to all of them, but it doesn't always happen. And then the very same day, we got a real big treat, something that's kind of it's not a monthly thing that I do. It's actually quite an honor. The American Philosophical Practitioners Association is having me on for an agora, and this is going to be sort of a general interview about what I do with my client-based practice of philosophical counseling and consulting. And Lou Marinoff will be interviewing me, asking me all sorts of things, and then I think it's open to the participants to get to ask some questions as well. So if you want to get to know more about that side of my work, that could be something that you would want to engage in. I'll put a link to that below, as well as all the other things too. On the 9th at noon, we're going to be having what was originally scheduled for last month, but I wasn't able to get to it. Understanding Anger. We're going to be looking at Aeschylus's, the ancient Greek playwright, the Oresteia, these trilogy of plays having to do with the house of Atreus, and the eventual development of legal justice in Athens, supported by Apollo and Athena against the Furies. So there's a lot of really great stuff about anger woven in there, and we're going to look at what lessons we can draw from it. Also on the 9th, for my Patreon supporters, I will be having Philosophy Chat. This is a video conferencing session where they can ask me about whatever it is that they'd like to, and I'll, be there to help them out, understanding philosophy-related matters. Sometimes there's a lot of people, sometimes there's just a few, but it's always a great conversation. So if you want to get in on that, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. It's one of the perks that we offer at the $10 level. On the 10th, we're going to try to do something that, again, we were supposed to do last month, and hopefully it's going to happen this month, and that is at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 10th. I'm going to be premiering a video about self-directed study of Immanuel Kant. So I've been putting together some stuff on that. I'm going to be filming it pretty soon, and we'll do a video premiere with live chat for that. On the 16th, Scott Cerulli will be joining me again for Classic Metal class, and we are going to be focusing this time on a topic which is really going to highlight Scott. I mean, he's a professor of guitar. We're going to be talking about great guitar solos and what makes them great. What is there anything that we can say is objective about it? Is it purely subjective? What goes into great examples of soloing, as an artist. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. Scott's going to have his favorites. I'm going to talk about some of mine. We'll solicit some suggestions from the audience, and we'll break them down. Maybe Scott will even get out his guitars. He's got about 30 of them, I think. Sometimes you see that in the background, and play a few of them himself. Then on the 23rd at noon, we will be having Worlds of Speculative Fiction. And this time, this is much anticipated by a lot of people, we are looking at the first two books of Stephen Erikson's Malazan House of the Fallen series, which, fan recommended. I'm really enjoying these books, just as I did with the Terry Pratchett. So, we'll do a video premiere with live chat, followed by a Zoom session, and we'll discuss all of this in a good bit of detail that it requires. So those are the events coming up this month. A lot of video work that I'm going to be doing, more interviews are lined up. I've got more books to review, and I'll probably do some more Sadler stories. I've got some things that I want to talk about, especially as the holiday season approaches, maybe do some personal videos, and I'll be doing some more quick takes as well, because there's some things that I think could be helpful for people. I'm also going to be doing something that I've done in the past, but haven't done for a while. I do commissioned videos. People are always like, will you do a video on this? Will you do a video on this? And my answer is always, do you want to pay for my time and energy to, stop doing what I'm doing over here and do the thing that you want me to do? And most of the time people just say, no. But every once in a while, there's somebody who's like, yeah, I'll do that. I really want to see this video. So I've done commissioned videos on Nietzsche, on Heidegger, and now I'm going to be doing one on Deleuze and Guattari, specifically on the notion of the body without organs in the first part of Anti-Oedipus. I'll also be doing a lot of core concept videos on Kant's Prolegomena. We finished up with the second part. We're ready to move into the third part, which is really the centerpiece of it, right? Whether pure metaphysics is indeed possible. So we're going to be doing some of those. We might do some other core concept videos depending on how quickly we proceed through the Kant. And then watch out for some announcement videos. I'm going to be doing some of those talking about classes. I already did one just recently about my worldviews and values online class. As we move into the new year, there should be videos coming out on Plato, 4 dialogues that we'll be looking at, the Apology, Credo, Euthyphro, and Phaedo. But there's also going to be announcement videos for some of the other classes that I'm going to be offering. And so that's a great segue into talking about these online classes. So I am getting ready to teach 2 academic classes in the spring for Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, Religions of the World and existentialist philosophy and literature. So I'll be shooting some more core concept videos on key existentialist thinkers. But those of you who'd like to study with me and aren't going to be here in Milwaukee at Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design, I have a online academy, Study with Sadler, it's called. You can see the link to it below. And I am going to be offering 2 synchronous classes. This means that we have regular meeting times. I'll be doing a synchronous class on the cardinal virtues in Stoicism. That's wisdom, justice, temperance, and courage. We're going to be doing deep dives into these, looking at the different discussions of them in Stoic texts and in people like Cicero who are attracted to Stoicism. So that is going to be an online class that if you want to, you can enroll in, and you're going to learn an awful lot. I'm also going to be doing, concurrently with that, but on a different day, philosophy of friendship. We're going to look at Aristotle, Nicomachean Ethics, books 8 and 9. We're going to look at Cicero's work on friendship. We're going to look at some of Seneca's discussions. We're going to look at Plutarch and his discussions. So it's friendship in the ancient world. And we might bring in some others as well. I'm debating about doing Plato's Lysias. We'll see about that. We can't pack in too much. But if that's something that you'd like to study, keep an eye out because I will be doing an announcement video about it. We'll be pushing it out in social media, and you can enroll in that. I'll also have asynchronous classes. That's classes you can do at your own pace coming out, and I will announce those as they become available as well. So a lot of cool stuff coming up. Podcast work, I've just started releasing to my Patreon supporters podcast episodes on Ursula K. Le Guin's The Tombs of Atuan, her second great Earthsea novel. So that will be continuing through the early part of the month. And then I'm thinking actually I'll probably do more Le Guin, right? There's some one-offs like her essay From Elfland to Poughkeepsie. There's the two early Earthsea stories, The Rule of Names, and I'm forgetting the other one. But then there's a third Earthsea novel, which is really, really good. And I think that people might be quite interested in it. So I will probably do podcast episodes continuing through the rest of December on other Ursula K. Le Guin novels. So we'll probably do The Farthest Shore, and we'll see if we can get into Tahanu, which is the fourth Earthsea novel. I don't want to promise too much, but so that is what we've got going on this month. Obviously, we have the Christmas holiday coming up and New Year's. My kids are going to be hanging out here for a good bit of that. That should be fun. We're going to do family things, also we're going to spend time at the cat shelter and, doing those sorts of things. But a lot of cool things coming up in the month for those of you who like the work that I do. Hope you can join me for these online events. And I will see you out there in the internet ether. And we'll do some philosophy together. I hope you have a great month. And tune in to these things, the ones that you're particularly interested in.